Hello, everyone, and welcome to the May 22nd meeting of the Women Product Toastmasters Club. I am the Sergeant at Arms, Amy Kirkland, and today our theme is your proudest product management moment or achievement. And my personal proudest product management achievement, I think, would be when we were short-staffed and I had to manage 4 different development teams and had a very tight deadline, and we were able to meet the deadline, in fact, beat the deadline and get things out ahead of time, even though I was trying to manage so many teams. It was a crazy time and it was very stressful, but it was definitely exciting to see my skills in action and being able to manage teams and get stuff out on time. So we have a lot of great speakers today talking about their proudest moments today, I believe. And so I think it's going to be a fun meeting. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Erica Tamburo.
Thank you so much, Amy. Welcome, everybody, to our May meeting. Hopefully you're enjoying some nice warm weather, unless you are in Colorado and they're enjoying snow. I'm not enjoying it at all. I'll go through club business really quickly and then ask our guests to say hello. I would love to ask our guests to share their proudest achievement, but I know that discussion could take, we could be here all day sharing, and that would be awesome, and I would love that. But so maybe, share with us how you found us and what you hope that our club would be able to help you achieve. How about that? So first of all, I'll start with club business really quickly. There's not much to talk about this May, but please be aware that next meeting, June 5th, is our club officer elections. So if you're interested in a role, please reach out to me and let me know. We have the only role that we have somebody that is not running for is SAA. So if that might interest you, that is a really great role to get a lot of practice in every meeting. And if you're nervous about meetings and online speaking, you will get the practice and you will no longer be nervous. So it's a really great role. So yes, please let me know if you're interested in SAA, and please plan to attend the June 5th meeting so that you can vote. Yeah, that'd be great. So today we'll have a Q&A following the meeting for anybody that has any questions, for any new members that need any help with anything, for any of our guests that have questions about how the club functions or what pathways are and any of that stuff. Please join us. All right, without further ado, I am going to look for our guests today. Please say hello, how you found us, and what amazing accomplishment that you think that time at Toastmasters might help you with. And I am looking for our guests. Let's see, Prita. Oh, we cannot hear you. No. No bummer. We'll let you work that out and come back to you. Okay. Yes, you can go later. Thank you. All right. Another guest. Let's see. Amy. Amy, would you like to say hello? Let us know how you found us and what you're looking to accomplish. Oh, there you are.
My apologies.
That's okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is my first visit to your club. I'm a member of a Toastmasters Club here in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm always looking for opportunities to improve my public speaking. It's been a historical Achilles heel for me, overcoming the nerves and anxiety associated with that. So I earned my competent communicator in 2017, so it's been several years, but I'm still working on a pathway innovative planning. I'm on a level 2 there. So I was just interested to see another meeting and continue practicing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today, Amy. All right, another guest. Let's see, Aggie. Hello, Aggie.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me. So Erica, as you know, I reached out to you via LinkedIn. I was doing research on Toastmasters clubs and was really excited about the fact that there is one that caters to women specifically in product management. I am a product manager, and I'm looking forward to learning more, joining the club, and improving my public speaking skills.
So happy that you found us and you joined us today. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, let's see, Betty.
Hi, I'm not camera ready today, so I apologize for that. But I found you guys from the Women in Product Conference, which was a real big surprise to see. So I'm really excited to join the team and just overall be able to improve my communication. I think is exciting, but also in a topic that's relevant and that I probably should be exercising that skill. And the more niche you can get into what you're communicating in will be easier as well to be able to talk on the subject that you know. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes today.
So happy to have you here, Betty.
Thank you.
Eva.
Hi, I'm Eva. I alluded to a little bit earlier, I found you guys through Tiffany. I like to do coffee chats with strangers on LinkedIn and Twitter. So that's kind of how we met. I live in North Carolina. And yeah, I think I just want to learn a little bit more about this community. I'm currently, I work for a small company and I have 3 roles: product owner, product manager, program manager. So I definitely know the difference between all 3, but really honing in on the product manager item. And yeah, I think for me, just trying to gain a bit more confidence in how I talk to people is my big thing. Thanks.
This is the place for that. All right, let's see. Do we have any other guests that want to say hello? Geeta, yes, thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Geeta Verma. I joined as a guest in one of the last sessions. I'm here to improve my public speaking skills. I was part of Toastmasters way back in 2014, and I saw some tangible benefits then. I'm here again. I love the different pathways that have evolved over a period of time, and I'm here to learn more, improve myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Geeta. All right, am I missing anybody else? I'm scanning. This is scanning.
I think I can go. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, 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 there you are. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about earlier. I chose a different mic, so you guys couldn't hear me. So good morning, everybody. My name is Preeta Kulkarni, and I am based out of Nashville, Tennessee. I used to be a Toastmasters member when I used to live in Florida 3 years ago. And then I moved to Nashville for a new job, and that kind of got away from me. But a couple of weeks ago, when I attended the Women in Product Conference, I came across this group and I was very delighted that it would give me an opportunity to join the Toastmasters Club again and also meet with all the amazing women in product, because I started my career as a software engineer, then moved into hybrid roles, and now I'm a business analyst, also doing some product management activities. So I would like to say that I'm on verge of becoming a product manager. So I thought it would be a good platform to come back to and improve on my communication skills, because communication is something that I feel that I can improve on every single year. And one of my secret wishes is to be a TED speaker one day. So that's why I'm here. Nice to meet you, everyone. Thank you.
It's really lovely to have you here as well. This is a lot of previous Toastmasters. This is really great. Our club is really unique and really fun. So I hope you have fun today and you see how we have something that's a little bit different here. For those of you new to Toastmasters, you'll get to see all of our roles. I know have a purpose, from speaker to evaluator, to table topics, and we encourage you to participate in the table topics portion. In a little bit, our table topics master will let you know what that's all about, and you can let her know if you would or would not like to participate. So you'll get a feel for what our meetings are like, and please feel free after the meeting to ask us any questions that we can help you with. All right, without further ado, I am going to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Tanya. Tanya is currently the Director of Advertising Platforms at Charter Communications. She recently completed an 8-week course on becoming an intrapreneur. I'm very interested in that. Driving innovation within large, structured and typically inflexible organizations. Very cool. One of her proudest achievements as a product manager was winning the company's Product Manager of the Year award within a year of transitioning from engineering to product. Very cool, Tanya. Looking forward to today's meeting. Take it away.
Thank you, Erica. Hello to my fellow Toastmasters, and a very warm welcome to the guests today. I'm very excited to see you. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to the leadership team for providing that complimentary pass to the Women in Product Conference last week. I was able to attend quite a few sessions in between work things, so that was awesome that it was virtual. Ansu's speech was amazing. Our networking event hosted by Jen was awesome, and Marguerite's session on diversity was very, very enlightening, and I enjoyed all of that. In addition to, I don't know who got to go, but there was a DJ that started each morning. Oh my goodness, she was amazing. So I don't remember her name and I need to look her up, but she was from Amazon Music. Fantastic. Anyway, everyone who was there represented us so well, and so I thank you for that. On to the matter at hand, our proudest product management accomplishments. As Erica mentioned, when I transitioned from engineering management to product management many years ago, the Product Manager of the Year award that soon followed was, if you looked at it, just a piece of glass, and maybe corny to some, but for me, you hit that point in your career where you want to make a change, and I made the change. And so this little piece of glass was a confidence booster and a reassurance that I had made the right move to product management. And with that, I can't wait to hear about everyone else's proudest and very personal accomplishments. I'd like to introduce today's team to give us a brief explanation of their roles. And to start, I will introduce our general evaluator, Sarah Gagnon. She has a team of evaluators. Sarah, would you like to tell us what your role is today?
I would love to, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. My role today is as general evaluator, and I'm looking at the ebb and flow of our meeting from the beginning all the way through to the end, as far as our participation, how things have been, how well we hand off to other aspects of the meeting. To do this, I'm not alone. I have a team of phenomenal evaluators today, Ashley Lawson and Rosie Hernandez and Marguerite Osley, along with you'll be hearing from them later on. They provide evaluations for the prepared speeches. The other part of my team is also the timer. Jennifer Ginsburg Monique Tucker is counter, and Sina Ape is grammarian. And I'd like to call on Jennifer right now to give a perfunctory type of explanation of her role.
Yeah, hi. Hi, everyone. This is Jennifer Ginsburg. Can you guys hear me okay, or is that okay? Thank you. So I'm the timer for today, which basically means that as each speaker comes on, I'm going to be giving visual cues as far as like the time box in which you're speaking in. Over time, the anticipation is that the timer, everybody will get used to being able to speak in a timely fashion and kind of have that internal clock, if you will, as they go through speaking and stick to their time box. So a couple of things that I wanted to let people know. Table topics, it's going to be no more than 2 minutes. I'll flash a green card at 1 minute, a yellow card at a minute 30 seconds, and then a red card at 2 minutes, so the 2-minute cap. And then for speeches, most of the speeches are going to be 5 to 7 minutes in length. So I'll do a green card at 5 minutes, 6 minutes will be a yellow card, and then 7 minutes will be a red card. I think we've got one icebreaker speech today, and that's going to be a green card at 4 minutes, a yellow card at 5 minutes, and a red card at 6. And then we'll also be timing the individual evaluations as well, because that is a timed piece component as well. And so that they will last between 2 to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll raise a green card. 3 minutes, I'll raise a yellow card. And at 3 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll raise a red card. So that's it for the timer, and I'll do that readout towards the end there. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Today, we also have for our counter, Monique Tucker. Monique, would you like to give us an overview of your role?
Yes, thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. So today I am the counter, and what I will be doing is I'll be noting words and sounds that are used as crutch or filler words by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words, including and, well, but, so, and you know. I will also listen for filler words, including or, eh, and I will notice when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I, or this means, this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report out on the number of times that people use this expression for awareness. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Monique. I think I already contributed to your list, so thank you for that. Sina, you are our grammarian today. Can you tell us about your role as well as the word of the day that we should be using throughout the event?
Sure. Thank you, General Evaluator. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So as a grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. My also responsibility is to introduce the word of the day. Today's word of the day is elucidate, which means explain something clearly and easily to avoid ambiguity or confusion. An example of using the word is, as a product manager, one of the main ability is to elucidate the problem statement to the teams. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day, and I'll give a grammarian's report when called upon later in the meeting. Back to you.
Thank you, Sina, for elucidating your role today. I appreciate that. We also have another role that I notice is not exactly, well, it is on the calendar, it is on our agenda, and that is the vote counter. And that is, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name, Geeta?
Geetika.
Yes, you'd like to introduce yourself and your role?
Yes, thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Hi, everyone. I'm Geetika. I'll be counting votes for your favorite table topic response today. At the end of the table topic segment, I will prompt you to DM in the Zoom chat with your votes, and then I'll tally up the votes, and towards the end of the meeting today, I'll let you know who the winner is. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much. At the conclusion of our meeting today, I will then do a report out of my findings. And at this point, then I will return it over to our Toastmaster, Tanya.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. There is one role I believe we did not introduce yet, and it's the table topics section of the meeting, and that will be conducted by Richu. Richu, would you like to tell us about table topics and what it's all about?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Good morning, good afternoon to you all. So table topics is a set of impromptu questions. I'll be the one asking the question. Like Madam Toastmasters, actually the timer spoke about priorly, you get about 2 minutes to answer that question. Hopefully you take at least 1 entire minute to respond to each of these questions. And since they're impromptu, you can let me know if you don't want to be picked on or pulled on stage here. So you can just send me a private message on the chat box to tell me if you don't want to be called on. And at the end of table topics, after everybody has responded to your respective questions, all of us here will vote, and that vote has to be sent privately to the vote counter. That's Geetika for today, and she'll announce the winner. Back to you, Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you, Richu. Okay, we have now covered all of our roles, and it is time to move on to our prepared speeches. First up, we have Erica Tamburo. As you know, she is a creative in many spaces. You know her as one of the founders and president of the Women in Product Toastmasters Club. She is also a woman in STEAM and is passionate about creating health research and education products in close collaboration with her end users. She's also an artist and a speaker and finds fulfillment helping others along with their artistic and professional journeys. Her speech today is titled Proudest Moments, Courtesy of Great Communication, and it will complete her Pathways project, Visionary Communication Level 2, which is awesome, Understanding Your Communication Style. Erica, please get us kicked off.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. I couldn't have planned today any better because my speech is about communication style, and today's topic is proudest PM achievements. And I could never have accomplished my proudest achievement if it was not for my communication style and the skills that I've developed over the years. So today I'm excited to share with you what the achievement is, what made that successful, and some pointers for you, those of you who may share the same style as I do. So my greatest achievements was developing a vision, collaborating with diverse users and stakeholders, and leading the development of a data collection and management tool. What started out as a spreadsheet, yuck, transformed into a relational database and blossomed into a beautiful, sophisticated solution for a 60+ person research laboratory. I was able to unite everyone to work together and make it a success. I'm very proud of that. A little bit about communication style before I jump in. It's a really fascinating topic. No doubt you've sat in a meeting with a leader that was extremely efficient and very goal-oriented, clearly assigned tasks. And perhaps you sat in meetings with leaders that were more collaborative and there was more discussion. These leaders have two very different styles. And likely you've had a preference. You've either really loved one or really loved the other one, and how you reacted to their leadership style kind of dictated, how you functioned within the project. For those of you that have participated in one of our leadership meetings, it won't surprise you that my style is supportive. I'm the collaborative leader that values opinions, works to make sure everybody's heard and feels safe doing so. As it turns out, it served me very well leading teams to develop and refine new processes. So today I'll share with you how I've used the supportive communication style to accomplish 3 goals that were crucial. Number 1 is inspire and motivate. Number 2 is collaborate. And number 3 is adopt. So first up is inspire and motivate. It is not just enough to have a great idea. As a leader, you have to inspire those around you to join you on your journey. In my case, I was always focused on learning people's pain points so that, every iteration could create something they were excited about. But I wasn't just doing that. I was actively discussing their, wow, wouldn't it be great if? Wow, wouldn't it be great ifs? Actively creating a vision with them. So one key advantage to the supportive communication style is that people feel heard. And if you're actively creating opportunities to understand what people need, what their goals are, what their pain points are, you will build trust. And if you build your vision with them, not for them, they become excited about the possibility of something new. Following that trust and excitement, a clearly communicated vision will inspire and motivate them to support your project. Next up is collaborate. And the supportive style is really fantastic for team collaboration. So we just talked about laying the foundation, and that creates like a natural route into collaboration. But let's face it, who wants another meeting added to their schedule? Yeah, nobody, right? But creating a collaborative environment is crucial for creating that solution that works for everybody. And in my case, I had analysts, engineers, programmers, clinical staff, coordinators, everybody, all invested in attending group meetings together to discuss how workflows should look like, how data should be defined, how one staff's work group affected another's. And the supportive style really enabled me to facilitate these meetings, encourage everybody's voices to be heard, and develop better outcomes with the team. So team meetings were both worthwhile and productive for everybody. Finally, we have adopt. So I almost call this implement, but the real goal isn't implementation, it's adoption. And for those of you familiar with change management, you know that change is a multiple step process. What I've learned is that getting people to adopt the new processes is actually more than half the battle. The supportive style is really advantageous here. You really need to support people through this change with education, with training. And even though you may have designed it with them together, people forget the discussions, people forget the decisions, people forget the why. And it's required this repetition, as part of your plan. So not only design together, but follow up with the means to help people learn the process and adopt it. And this requires patience, which is one of my superpowers is patience. All right, so to wrap up, some pointers for those of you with a supportive style, which sounds totally amazing, right? But there are some challenges. Number one is be aware that not everyone thrives under this style. Not everybody does. You'll need to adjust as needed. Some people like more direct communication. Some people will take advantage of your collaborative style. I've had people start arguments instead of having discussions. So you have to be able to adjust when those happen. Not everybody is comfortable in the group settings. They might not be truthful. They might not, give you feedback that you need when you're in those meetings. So you have to learn to read the room, read body posture, and know when to ask questions outside of the meeting. And number three is be careful and respect people's time. So, if you're a supportive style, you love discussions and you love including everybody, but time is very precious. So you have to balance your inclinations in that supportive style and make sure you're also being respectful of people's time. One of my personal challenges. So if you're a leader with a supportive style, I'd love to hear how you've used it for your advantage. And how that's helped you achieve your proudest PM moment. So thank you all for your time. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Erica. That was very inspirational. You showed us how we can turn a vision and you turned it into a blossoming product with effective communication. And it's one of the main reasons that we're all here, right? So that was fantastic. Thank you so much. Can we please have 2.5 minutes on the clock for our evaluators to write their remarks? You can also send a message to Erica on chat, and we can also ask some questions. So 2.5 minutes, and we can open it up for questions for Erica.
Question. Hi, Erica. How did you determine that this was your specific communication style? And for anyone else who's curious on determining their specific communication style, are there resources you'd recommend to figure that out?
Oh, that's a great question. I actually didn't know until I took this project that it was my communication style. Visionary communication level 2. But I'm sure there are resources out there. Actually, when I did a quick search and typed in style, there are many different approaches to that question. And then you get many different styles and lists of styles. I'd be happy to share with you the 4 from this project. But actually, for me, what I knew is my why. Like my why is I want to help people around me. I want to do work, that people benefit from. And that's always guided me, even without knowing, what the label was. So, yeah, know the why, but then also like learning about your style then also helps you understand other people's styles, and then helps you change your style to their style, or notice when your style doesn't work for other people. Thank you for the question.
I had a follow-up question if we still have time. So have there been scenarios, you did mention some gotchas that you have to take care of in the supportive style. Have there been moments where you had to pick up some tools from a different skill set, perhaps be a little bit more straight, or a little bit more direct, and pause the meeting, especially when there are aggressors in the meeting?
Mm-hmm.
This is just an example, but I want to hear from you. What other skill set did you have to pick up other than this tool set?
I have had to learn other skills. So like I mentioned, I love chatting with people and learning their experiences and their goals and their pain points. But you also have to realize like when things are being stalled, and then when you need to refer to that checklist and start checking stuff off. That is just kind of practicing mindfulness, which I know many of us have talked about in previous meetings, and just being mindful of what's going on around you and how people are reacting to you. If you're in a meeting and you have that supportive style and you're having discussions and so in the corner is falling asleep, then you know that you need to do something. But I have had people take advantage of that collaborative discussions and turn it into arguments, which was that was an interesting thing to learn how to deal with. It was somebody I managed, so I had to figure out how to manage this person that would go off on tangents. And it's that might not come natural to you. You might have to reach out to other managers and learn those skills on how to be like, okay, we need to wrap it up. Thank you. First of all, thank you for your input. Let's put a pause on that and discuss it more outside of the meeting, and learn different strategies like that from others. Thank you for the questions.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we have Tiffany Chang, who will be giving her icebreaker speech. I'm so excited. Tiffany is currently working as a product operations coordinator at a B2B supply chain startup, where she is leading a newly formed product management team as her organization is preparing to relaunch their SaaS platform and company brand. When she's not working, you'll find her reading, writing, lifting weights, or learning more about mental health. Her speech title is Continuous Self-Discovery, Finding My Product Management Superpowers. Welcome, Tiffany.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. As an expert at always moving the goalposts on myself, I struggle with recognizing my past achievements, so today's theme really hits home for me. Recently, I had my 2-year work anniversary with my organization, which I joined fresh out of university in 2020. Additionally, it's been 6 months since I've been leading our newly formed product management team as product ops coordinator. It turns out that a 2-year-long global pandemic presents a fantastic opportunity to self-reflect and reconnect with myself. With stream of consciousness journaling and the results of my first ever 360-degree feedback from cross-functional teammates, I narrowed down my top 3 superpowers: making connections, empathy, and authenticity. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, I'm humbled to share a glimpse into my ongoing journey of maximizing my career value system fit to succeed as budding PM #1 in my org. For the bulk of my academic journey, I felt like I was a black sheep. I loved the scientific method and rigor of the maths and sciences, the co-creation experiences of ensemble singing in choir and musical theater, and the appreciation of human diversity through languages, of which I speak 2.5: English, Mandarin, and conversational French. For my undergrad degree, I debated between pursuing engineering, cognitive sciences, and foreign languages. I just wanted to add Spanish and Arabic to my language roster. Between the 3 subjects, I opted to accept an offer into a chemical engineering program based on chemistry being my favorite of the branches of science. A week into university, I realized my program was not for me. However, being stubborn and determined, I persevered and instead used my mandatory internship experiences to try to find my calling in life. I experimented with roles in STEM education, technical writing, chemical engineering, and agile coaching. It's thanks to having these academic and professional experiences that are worlds apart that I accredit my extraordinary ability to see the interconnectedness of different ideas and individuals and elucidate perspectives between different business functions. Now, because I felt like a square peg obsessed with trying to force fit myself into circular holes, I try to be the person that I believe I needed at the time, whether that's a friend, a mentor, a coach, or a cheerleader. As a former engineering student, I appreciate the detail-oriented and risk-averse nature of my development peers. On the other hand, as I've worked more closely with executive-level stakeholders, I appreciate their more visionary tendencies and business acumen. Thus, I tapped into my empathy to act as facilitator and mediator to ensure each team and individual has an opportunity to elucidate their preferences and concerns in sometimes downright uncomfortable conversations. Being sensitive to what is said and what isn't said helps me to draw out deeper thoughts with curious questioning and lead everyone to previously obscured common ground. Thanks to my power to see the world through other people's lenses, I'm able to make use of the superpowers of everyone around me and keep us all moving towards our North Star. Both my aforementioned superpowers are super well aligned with my own personal belief system. On making connections, I've stopped forcing myself to focus on trying to become a specialist when I am more inclined to be a generalist. On empathy, we're all part of one team with one dream. Each of us just so happens to focus on a different piece of the puzzle to bring our shared collective vision to life. Even though I finished my 5-year-long chemical engineering undergrad, the journey was challenging because I was simply not passionate about the problems that I could go on to solve with this particular knowledge. As such, I've established 2 principles to carry with me throughout the rest of my life. 1, embrace all of myself with all my strengths and weaknesses and go with the flow of who I am. And 2, find my own definition and meaning in the work that I do to feel personally invested in it, which is crucial for a reinforcing feedback loop that promotes sustainable and persistent personal growth. As happy as tangible accomplishments make the high performer in me, what I am most proud of to date is my ability to live out and make use of my superpowers of connecting concepts, exercising empathy, and living true to myself. While I am so excited to continue exercising these strengths, I look forward to working out new muscle groups as well. Thank you for listening, and I hope my journey of embracing my full self inspires you to tap into your own superpowers.
Wow. Tiffany, you're only 2 years into your career.
Yes.
I am blown away. I'm envious that you know yourself so well already. I just keep up the great work. You are on an amazing path. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That means a lot.
2.5 minutes on the clock, please. And questions for Tiffany.
I can kick us off. Thanks for sharing all the languages that you know. I am curious, out of those or your major, what has been the most challenging to learn?
Oh, this is so funny. I was just talking with Erica about this. I don't know what it exactly is, but my theory is that learning piano from a very young age, my mom forced me to learn piano when I was 4.5 years old. And I learned for about 9 to 10 years. That really helped me for whatever reason to learn different languages. And what I found during my undergrad is I really struggled with organic chemistry, but that seems to be a very common pattern in a lot of engineering and science students who have to take organic chemistry. So I think organic chemistry is just a very hard subject. So is calculus. Calculus 1 for me made a lot of sense. Calculus 2 was fine. And then about halfway through calculus 3, when we started doing multivariable calculus, like something in my brain just didn't connect. Thanks for the question.
Got time for another question. Anyone? I think we're all just in awe, honestly.
I'll answer this unsolicited question. Don't pick chemical like if you ever have kids and they're thinking about chemical engineering, don't pick chemical engineering only for the reason that they like chemistry. Like chemistry and chemical engineering have very little to do with each other. Don't do that.
Very good tip.
Hi, Tiffany. I have a quick question for you. How do you make good connections with people? What helps you the most?
Honestly, as an introvert, I found that just being quiet and asking people about what their interests are, what they like to do, what they do for work, you know, what's their family life like, and just being there to listen, I found is a very hidden but powerful ability to do. And I think somewhere along the way, a lot of us forgot that listening is a very important part of just being a good human being. So yeah, just ask a question and listen with all your full self.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thank you for the questions.
Let's
move on. Let's move on to our final speaker for today. Amelia is a product manager at All Day Kitchens, where she is helping restaurant brands thrive in the era of delivery. Previously, she was a product manager at LiveRamp. She enjoys dinners with family and friends, board games, and going to antique stores. Me too. Her pathway project is Presentation Mastery, and each title is Growing and Reflecting as a PM. Amelia, the floor is yours.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests, have you all always wanted to be product managers? I personally learned that being a product manager was a career option for me my senior year of high school. Senior year is also when everyone is asking you, what are you going to major in college? What kind of career are you thinking of pursuing? What are you going to be when you grow up? During my physics class, we had these booklets distributed about various jobs in engineering and technology. On one of the pages, they had a woman dressed in a really cool pantsuit giving a presentation, and the page talked about engineering management and related roles like product management. This sounded really interesting to me. It sounded like I could learn some hard skills in computer science, combine them with soft skills in communication and stakeholder alignment when I was in college, and then I'd be a great product manager, right? Cut to a few years later, and I was an associate product manager at an ad tech company, and I was struggling. I was struggling to actually learn what my product did, learn how to answer questions that were coming from customers, learn how to speak with my engineers, and figure out how to actually be a PM. For years, I thought becoming a product manager was my big goal. And once I got to that accomplishment, it would make me so proud, and everything will just kind of figure itself out from there. Obviously, that's not how life typically works. And it took me close to a year of close coaching from my managers, lots of one-on-ones with engineers, and just lots of on-the-job practice to actually feel like I was getting a hang of things. Then, as I was starting to feel really confident in myself, of course, my sights were then set up on coming up with my next goal. Whether that was trying to be a PM at a certain company, leveling up my title, or increasing my total comp, the list really just went on from there. So after accomplishing my initial goal of trying to land a PM role, I moved on to a new company. This, of course, also meant working on a completely new product, working with new coworkers, and of course, a totally new set of challenges. Meeting the expectations of senior leadership, working on some really challenging analytical tasks, and understanding demanding customers, they honestly asked me a lot of difficult questions for myself. I realized that I had to take a step back and really take some time to reflect on this imposter syndrome and overwhelm that I was experiencing. I knew that I would always have a list of professional goals that I wanted to accomplish, the next milestones that I wanted to hit in my career, but I wasn't necessarily taking the time to ask myself what really made me happy and proud as a product manager. And to be honest, it was really hard for me to choose a single proudest moment that I have as a PM, because I think it's actually a collection of moments. And specifically, these are moments when my team and I can really work together to help our users at the end of the day. That gave me a real sense of accomplishment. For example, I recently worked on a set of backend and UI changes for an internal tool for our customer support team. I didn't necessarily hear immediate hoorays and praise, but I did take a look at some survey results that went out a few weeks after our release and saw some really great feedback there about how these changes really helped our users make their jobs easier at the end of the day. Finally, it was a moment for me to really rejoice in and a chance to really challenge that feedback that I was giving to myself and the doubts that I was having on my skills. I'm sure that in the next few years, I'll have another professional goal to pursue and possibly other professional challenges that I'll have to overcome. But I really do hope that I can continue to make those around me feel more supported, make my users feel more delighted. And that's regardless of the specific role that I'm in or the company that I'm working for. There's a lot more to being a product manager than I thought when I first read that booklet when I was a senior in high school. And I think there's a lot of growing and reflecting that I still have left to do in my career. But as long as I'm working on myself, working to make things easier for others, and learning from some really great people, I'll be proud of myself. And I will consider all of those big and small moments as accomplishments. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Amelia. That I know firsthand as ad tech. I'm in ad tech, and I can't even imagine going into ad tech in my first, like just out of college, being my first job. Very, very impressive, but so glad that you were able to figure out and listen to your heart and pivot, and just a great job. Can we please have 2.5 minutes and questions for Amelia?
I can go. Amelia, that was very authentic. And thank you for sharing your journey through your previous role and your newfound role within product management. I'm curious as to when you talked about like finding what role suits you best, and this was your first job straight out of college. What were some things that you put down as absolute must-haves, and how did you arrive at that?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. Honestly, Rishu, I think it's been a list that I've had to continuously iterate on as I've experienced various settings. I think when I first started out, it was really just about finding a way for me to be a PM and just landing that role, because it is especially so hard very early in your career to get there. And now that I'm further in, I've learned, oh, these are the kinds of teams that I enjoy working on. This is the kind of manager that I probably will get along with the most easily. I think I've gotten to be a little bit better about spotting some red flags, like during interviews, and figuring out what kind of environment would really suit me best. And so I think if I was to shortlist, being really invested in the product that I'm building, feeling really supported by my team members and my managers, and really feeling like this role can help me achieve, whatever professional accomplishments that I have at the end of the day. They'd be probably a couple, but it's a work in progress. I think every couple months and the experiences that they bring kind of alter that list.
That's great. I'm so glad you highlighted team and manager. I recently went through interviews, and in one of the rounds, the question was, what are you looking for, or what place do you want to be part of, or ecosystem? And my response was, well, at the end of the day, you're focusing on delighting your customers. So if you just reverse engineer that, I want to be working with a delightful team. That was it, right? That's so important. And I feel like that keeps going down that list when you're focusing on compensation and region and other things in life. But really what comes first, I think, would be team and manager. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you all. Thank you to our speakers, to the thoughtful questions. We are going to now move on to our table topics section of the meeting. And I would like to introduce Richu, who will be our table topics master today. Although she believes that her proudest PM achievement is still yet to come, some of the small wins along the way have been getting the team together for a timely launch and working on creative avenues to increase customer adoption of her feature and product. With that said, let's hear some of your small to big wins with her questions. Over to you, Richu.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Good morning, good afternoon again to everyone here, and welcome to the guests. I know 2 of you have sent me a message that you don't want to be called on. We can keep sending that if in case you don't want to be picked. I am going to jump into the questions today. So we had 3 very honest and brave speakers. Loved their journey so far. We got to hear something very deep and personal to them about their proudest PM achievements. The way I'm framing my questions today is this way. So I just want to give you some background, and then I'll jump into the questions. To really mark a milestone, it requires 5 essential steps as a product manager. First is dreaming, what I also call strategizing. Second is planning around the product or the execution around it, and then actually executing it. So you have cross-functional teams coming together to execute it. And somewhere down 60% or 70% mark, as a PM, you're evaluating it. And you're making sure everything is aligned to actually launch successfully. And the fifth step, of course, is launch. So the 5 steps, in these 5 steps, I have 5 independent questions. The first for today would be, what was the unique, bold, or creative strategy that you put together with your team or by yourself, which led to the biggest win as a PM? Share an aha moment when you or your team arrived at that strategy. And I will forward this question to Geeta.
Hi, thank you, Ritu. Yep. So an aha moment for me, we're working with my team about 3 or 4 years ago. I was part of Digital Innovation Labs. I had just joined as a PM, and we were assigned the task of building MVPs, and I was responsible for taking the product from inception to launch and supporting it beyond. One of the proudest moment was innovating a product called Dealership Performance Accelerator. And it just came through an intern suggested this idea about creating a performance report card for car dealerships. And it was just a casual conversation, and it struck that we could convert this idea into an MVP and see if it works out for one of the dealerships and if we would want to promote it further. So we worked through the idea, did a lot of iterations, worked with the end users, understood what their requirements were. Will they be open to using such a product that gives them report cards? Because typically car dealerships are very used to having those live interactive dashboards, but here we were offering to give them a performance card so that it helps them improve as well as benchmark their performance and get better. This was applicable to all the sales people, the finance team, the service people, and it really struck chord with them. And when we rolled out the MVP, it was like a hot favorite, trying to understand how are they benchmarking, how are they setting targets. And this, of course, was supported by a capability building practice for them as well. That said, taking this product from an idea to launching it in an MVP form, and then the biggest win was handing this over to a new ventures team who thought that this is a scalable idea and they can take it forward. So that's my story of an achievement that me and my team were very proud of.
That's a beautiful one, Geeta. Thank you for sharing. You taught us a key lesson to listen. Even interns or anybody in the team, irrespective of what their roles are coming up with creative ideas, and you just have to listen. So that's a beautiful one. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to the next question here. So during the planning phase, as I called it, the second phase being planning phase of your winning project, during the planning phase of your winning project, what are some key value propositions that you or your team put together, and how did those value propositions impact the user segment for that big win? All right, I'm going to forward this question to Ava Beasley. Sorry if I butchered that name.
No, that's fine. You broke up a little bit, but I think what I heard about the question is basically how to improve the user experience with working on your team. Is that correct?
I can repeat the question. So during the planning phase of, I'm at this point assuming that you have one of your beautiful PM achievement moments. So during the planning phase of such a winning project, what were some of those key value propositions that you put together, which created that winning impact?
Okay, sorry. So for me, I think the biggest aha moment I had when working on a team of engineers and designers was not going to the engineering team saying, can you build this, rather than rephrasing that to how do we build this and how long will it take? I think when you ask an engineer can, that could take a little bit of a downward spiral. I think we just need to understand that the engineers are they know what they're doing, and they know the best way to meet the customer requirements by giving them their own space. And then from that conversation, having them and the designers be involved in the discovery as early as possible, just so then everyone is on the same page.
Thank you, Eva. That was a great response. If I had to take away a lesson for myself, it was knowing who you're working with and letting them drive their strengths and not interrupting that. So that was beautiful. Thank you. I am on to my third question here. During the execution phase of your proudest product coming to life, what are some concerns or pitfalls that you had the foresight for and you course corrected it, and how was there a moment like that, and could you share something about it? And I'm going to forward that question to, trying to find someone who said, okay, speaking, Srimai.
Hi, yeah, hi Rishi.
Do you want me to repeat the question? I can repeat it. So during the execution phase of your proudest product coming to life, what are some concerns or pitfalls that you had the foresight for and then you course corrected it?
Oh, yeah, thank you for repeating the question, Richu, and thank you for the question. So there was one feature where we had to send a banner. It was a small feature, send a banner to the customers to renew their licenses when we realized like people were going overboard. So we actually were long overdue to do that, and the language of the banner didn't sort of come out the right way. Because everybody was under pressure to roll the feature, and but I realized like that's not going to go well with the customer. So we had to do another build for correcting the language, which was appropriate in a way. It was not telling the customers in a rude way that they have to renew at the same time, achieve the purpose it was supposed to. So we had to delay the feature release by a little bit longer. It took a little bit longer, but I think we did the right thing. So
that's a great response. Thank you, Shrimai. It really exemplifies this key feature of a product manager to do the right thing. And even if it's the hard thing to do the right thing. So I put the customers first, the experience and the product and the team you're working with first. So thank you for that response. And this is going to be my last question in the interest of time. From the evaluation phase or from the launch phase, I want you as a PM to describe some of the time spent to review the work, which was close to complete, and share some of those pivotal moments, which was your proudest when you were closer to launch. So I'm going to forward that question to Sarah. Sarah, did you say I shouldn't call you? Sorry.
I was trying to write down your question at the same time.
Okay, I'm going to repeat my question. So closer to the evaluation or the launch phase, you've spent some time as a PM, and assuming this was your proudest moment of a product launch, you've spent some time reviewing the work and you're close to launch. So what were some of those pivotal moments like, and what did you feel proud about?
That is a fantastic question. Thank you so much for that. I would say that in the particular product that I'm working on, it was started off by a project manager and then was basically brought over to product and product operations. So in the midst of launch, I realized my proudest moment was what I realized was that reaching out to the stakeholders, because they had felt up to this point that they hadn't really had a say in a lot of the in a lot of the development of a particular service on this digital platform. What I ended up doing, because it was close to launch, but I just, when you have that gut feeling and you feel like something is missing, and because I had come in the middle of a movie, I didn't know what had transpired up to that point. All of a sudden, I'm bringing this to launch, and you don't know the plot, you don't know all of the players. I decided to put it on hold until I could go back to the stakeholders. And I learned that the requirements were not done the way I would have thought they would have been done from the start. So I went back, did a reset, and elucidated the service, and finding that there were gaps. Then I worked with the stakeholders along with my developers. So we didn't have to do an entire new rebuild, but what we ended up doing was identifying those gaps, being able to put those really needed features that were not part of the service. And we are about to actually launch in a couple of weeks. So I would think that although it hasn't released yet, knock on wood, I really feel that was a pivotal moment for me, and probably one of my more happier moments, to know that the stakeholders were brought in and that they're feeling confident about it, just as I am. Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you, Sarah. That was very useful. Now that I start my new job in a few weeks, that was very useful to know that I'm going to be entering in the middle of a plot. So I have to take stock. So thank you for reminding me of that. And that was a great response. So back to you, Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you, Richu, and thank you to Geeta, Ava, Srimai, and Sarah. And I'm just putting those names in the chat as well, so you can send your votes for your favorite table topics response to Geethika. Thank you, guys. So next up, I would like to bring Sarah back to lead our evaluation section of the meeting. Sarah works as a product manager in public technology, where she is building frameworks for both product and product development. Her greatest PM achievement may very well be her current role as the sole PM for a digital platform that serves 1.7 million customers. Awesome. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. It's great to be back on your screen again. So we've come to our evaluation section. And as I mentioned, this is a collaborative type of process. I would like to call on our evaluators. First up, I'd like to call on Ashley, who will be evaluating Erica's speech. Ashley, please take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. No pressure being the first to give an evaluation here. Just like there is no pressure with someone speaking first, which is Erica. I am her evaluator for today, and I hope you are on the screen as we go through your speech from earlier this morning. I am going to go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid because I only found one thing I would love for you to work on, and I just want to shower you with all the good stuff that I heard. So the one thing that I think would have a little bit of work going forward is just that, given the conversation you and I had prior to your speech, I couldn't unhear certain things in your speech, and that's okay. But with that in mind, I think it would be incredibly helpful just to nail down your introduction a little bit more. And it could be just the fact that you were first and you got nervous. I know I do that every now and then when I have to speak first. But once you found your rhythm and you found your flow, then it was a phenomenal speech at that point. And you wrapped it up with giving us some tips. And I thought that was a beautiful bookend, having those tips for being a supportive leader. And that is the one thing I just had a quip about. Everything else was brilliant. A few things that I noticed is that you sprinkled in humor throughout your speech. And I absolutely love a little giggle throughout listening to someone's speech. So I was very happy to hear those little bits of humor. And it didn't feel like it was forced. It felt like it was just off the cuff and you were just being yourself, which is very beautiful to see and also incredibly authentic. And it didn't feel like you were forcing yourself to give the speech. And the other thing that I really loved was the fact that at the beginning of your speech, you did not only once, but twice let us know what you were going to be sharing with us as a group. And then you also brought it up again repeatedly throughout your speech, even though you didn't have any presentation or any other visual markers throughout. And that is incredibly helpful. There are times when I have a squirrel mentality and I completely tune out for a second and I think, oh my gosh, what is that person saying? And then lo and behold, you're filling that gap of me half listening or just not listening at all. So it is appreciative by hearing those topics of what you're discussing multiple times throughout. Aside from that, I thought your energy was great throughout your speech. I love that you had a few hand gestures. I love that there was a little bit of body movement, even though we're still on screen on Zoom. Aside from that, I absolutely love the engagement too. I could see you looking at us and interacting with us, even though we're not physically in a room. Aside from that, overall, you did a beautiful job, Erica. And back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Phenomenal job, Ashley. Thank you so much. And I'm sure Erica appreciates that feedback. Thank you. Next up, we have Rosie Hernandez, and she's going to give her evaluation of our Tiffany's speech, which is an icebreaker. So I'd like to call Rosie to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, Tiffany, congratulations on your very first speech. You held us captivated by the topic that you chose. I loved hearing everything that you've done so far. Like Lori said, or Tanya said, you've done so much in your first 2 years. I completely agree. Organic chemistry was probably the one class that had me at tears in college. But more for your speech. I absolutely loved the topic you chose, the introduction. You gave us a really good overview of what you were going to speak on. On that note, I really liked that you used your fingers. So you counted us in like the second topic. And I would have loved to have seen more of your hand gestures throughout. I think you had some hand gestures in there, but maybe it was just lowering the camera next time, because I'm sure you could walk us through the speech more if you used your hands or if we had more visibility into it. I know prior to your speech, you had mentioned that you were concerned about pacing. I think you did a phenomenal job at pacing. I noticed that you took great pauses when you were transitioning different subjects or different subtopics. So I absolutely love that. Let's see. Yeah, your tone is very clear. You enunciated very well. So everything was very clear. I think you did a phenomenal job for your first speech. The only two suggestions I have would be one, lowering the camera a little bit so that we could see your hands. I think hand gestures are a great way to walk people through speeches and keep them engaged as well. And I think you know how to use your hands, at least in the beginning. You gave us those like counts in. The second recommendation would be not memorizing your speech. And I'm doing that right now, looking at my notes and making more eye contact with the camera. I know it can be difficult, especially in like the first speech. You want to make sure that you're not skipping anything. I challenge you to rely more so on yourself. Like I'm sure you know the topic very well. Maybe use the paper or the computer screen as an outline versus staring at it more so. But overall, I think you did a great job. I'm really excited to hear your second speech. I think you have a lot to contribute to the club, and welcome and congrats on your icebreaker speech.
Fantastic, Rosie. Really some great takeaways for Tiffany and for all of us. I really appreciate your evaluation. Next up, we have Marguerite, and she will be giving her evaluation of Amelia's speech. Marguerite, would you like to take the stage?
Yes, thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Amelia, for another great speech. I really enjoyed hearing about your journey, just sort of gaining more perspective on your career beyond just thinking about hitting certain career goals and understanding how you work the best, what you want out of your career. I think all of us, or a lot of people, certainly myself, can relate to that. And I really appreciated and connected with how you are viewing accomplishments through the lens of how you've benefited customers. I think, that's what, in my personal opinion, that's what we should, primarily be focused on as PMs, even over business benefit in some cases. So I really connected with that. I think and I also appreciated sort of you connecting with, or celebrating the big and small accomplishments. I think that's important to staying motivated during a generally stressful career. The delivery of the speech I thought was great, really clear, and conversational. I felt like you were talking to a friend or a close colleague, and that helped me sort of connect with your experience. I thought that you were very comfortable giving the speech, and you had a really clear and concise summary of your experience at the end. I always like to pay attention to that because that's something I always am working on. And I also love your sort of judicious use of gestures. I think there was a part you had to step back and you used a very clear gesture there. A couple of things I would recommend just sort of thinking about for the next speech is playing a little bit more with vocal variety, just sort of, put emphasis, like in this speech, you could have used it to emphasize those moments of clarity that you were having along your journey, and also looking directly at the camera a little more often. It didn't seem like you were looking, as engaged with the audience, even though it's weird to look at the camera, but it does, I think, make a difference. Otherwise, yeah, I thought it was a great speech, and I was really inspired by how thoughtful you are about, planning and thinking about your career. I was really impressed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marguerite. You have a fantastic power of observation. So many things you mentioned that I didn't even pick up on. So thank you so much for that evaluation. Next, I'm going to call out for reports from the rest of the team. I would like to call Jennifer Ginsburg up for her timers report. Jennifer, would you like to take the stage?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks very much, Sarah. I will say timer is a lot harder than I remember. It's one of those things I have not done in a long time, and I'm glad I did it. However, I do want to apologize really briefly to Erica. I think I kind of messed up all of your cards, but at the same time, I think it may have forced you to be almost on time. So for our first speech, Erica, you came in just tiny bit over at 7 minutes and 2 seconds. Tiffany, you were within time at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And Amelia, you were within time at 5 minutes and 39 seconds. Going on into the table topic speeches, they were really, really great. Geeta, you were within time at 1 minute 58 seconds, so just barely there. Eva, you were at 54 seconds. And then Srimai, you were at 1 minute 18 seconds. And then Sarah, you were at 2 minutes and 18 seconds. As far as evaluations are concerned as well, Ashley, you were at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Rosie, you were at 2 minutes and 33 seconds. And Marguerite, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So again, all of the previous timers who have done this before, I am very impressed because it was a little harder than I remembered it being. So, wow. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. A round of applause for you. That is a tough job. You handled it so well. So I appreciate your thorough report that elucidated where we can probably improve in the future. And now for our counter report, I'd like to call on Monique Tucker. Monique, would you like to take the stage, please, and report out?
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. So I'm going to give the report on all the uhs, filler words, crutch words people use today. And just a reminder, this is for information and you can just learn from it. So don't take it personally. We all do this. We're all just learning here. So starting with Erica, got some uhs, over 5 an and a few, Tanya, saw from you an and a couple of repeats. Sarah, just over 5 Ashley caught an and an and. Rosie, over 5 repeats and a couple ands. Marguerite, over 5 and a few you know. Jennifer, over 5 Richu, we've got an over 5 ah. And let's see, Tiffany, a few and ahs. Amelia, we've got 1 and a couple ands. Amy, and a few and then Lori caught a couple from you. Geeta, a few and a repeat. Eva, also a couple of Sirimai, a few as well, and 1 you know. Thank you so much, everyone. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Great job, Monique. I know I, for one, really appreciate those types of reports. I become more cognizant even at work when I'm doing presentations. It's almost like I can hear the counter in the back of my head. So thank you so much. Next up, we have Sina, and she's going to tell us how well we did today using the word of the day. Sina, would you like to come up to stage?
Hi, thank you, Madam General Evaluator. So great meeting today, strong group of ladies and a lot of superpowers here. So I'll just give a couple of who all use the word of the day and also a couple of quotes that I liked, and I want to just repeat it for everybody's sake. So word of the day, Tiffany and Sarah, you both were competing, 3 each. There were so many sentences, very good use of the word. Couple of statements that stood out for me. Erica, the statement that you made, build vision with them instead, not for them. That was wonderful. Your learnings were good. Tiffany, making the 3 steps that you mentioned was good. I had never heard conversational French, so that was good learning. And then listening for yourself, for yourself and for the other person. That statement was wonderful. Amulya, the big and small achievements and the goals that you have and which you keep on iterating every year. That was wonderful. Ashley, words like bookend, sprinkled in humor was nicely used. I had Sarah, you had that whole middle of the movie and you had to transpire yourself for a table topic speech. That was really cool. And then for Richu, I always like your frameworks, the way you bring up points for your table topics and your speeches, and also the way you listen to the replies and give that one-liner that gives a conclusion. That was wonderful. So that's it. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Sina. Fantastic. Again, great power of observation. You brought up a number of things I really enjoyed. Now I'd like to give out my report of today's meeting. Let's see, I loved the introduction of guests. Erica, you always do such a fantastic job as our president and really making our guests feel warm, appreciated, and welcomed. Lori, VPE, I enjoyed that meeting theme. I wasn't certain originally how it was going to go down, but I think the team, the club, as well as guests really appreciated having an opportunity to breathe and just think back on our accomplishments. So I appreciated that. Tanya, fantastic job kicking off the meeting with that personalized meaning that you have with that piece of glass. I think that vision I'll keep with me for quite some time. I really appreciate your sharing that with us. Let's see, table topics master, I call out to Rishu. You did such a fantastic job. You have such a relaxed, casual way of engaging with the audience. And as Sina just said, being able to take what someone's saying and thread it together into the next question. Just a phenomenal job, not just today, but other times that you've also held that role. I also appreciated the fact that you had those 5 steps. I really appreciated that. I'm going to go back and listen to the recording because there was just so much meat there. I couldn't absorb all of it. Evaluators, phenomenal job. I really appreciate the fact that a number of you said that you reached out to the speakers beforehand to understand what it is that they really wanted you to have to concentrate on. And I, as a speaker, I really appreciate that, having someone to touch base beforehand, knowing what you're looking for, what your idea of success is on that speech. So fantastic job. Each one of you has a different style that I appreciated, yet each one of you were able to give back to your speakers some definite steps on improvement. So I appreciate that. And as far as the meeting itself, we started about 1 minute after 10, which I think is probably normal. I noticed that we're running about 4 minutes behind, and I think it had to do with the extra question and answer between the speeches. So maybe just choosing or having one question answer between the different speakers as opposed to two, that might help on the scope creep, if you will. And having said that, I don't want to speak anymore because I'm going to probably make us even later. I would like to just quickly go to our vote counter to find out who is winning the Best Topics Award today. And that would go to Kathika. Would you like to take the stage and let us know?
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Like everyone was saying, Richu, great questions, very interesting and insightful questions. And thank you all for the amazing answers. The winner for today's table topic is Geeta. Great job, Geeta. Congratulations. The voting was pretty close today, but great job.
Thank you so much for that, and congratulations to Geeta. You now have that honor to say that you won the Table Topics Award for the first Women in Product Toastmasters meeting post the conference. So congratulations. With having said that, I'd like to turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster, Tanya, for wrap up. Tanya?
Thank you, Sarah, very much. And thanks to everyone for a really great meeting today. That concludes my duties, and I'm going to hand it back to our president, Erica.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Wonderful meeting today, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah, all parts of the meeting I really enjoyed. Everybody sounded so fantastic. We are almost out of time, and I want to make sure that Lori has some time to give her VPE little section there. So I really invite all of the our guests to stay behind for a little Q&A after we end the meeting here. I'd like to hear your questions and hear how we can help and you know, let you know what you need to do to join us. We'd love to have you. Also, one more reminder, we are looking for an SAA, so if that's something you're interested in, please let me know. All right, Lori, take it away.
Thank you, Madam President. So roles for next meeting are in the chat. As always, if you want to sign up for a role, that is the easiest way for me to give roles, and you can sign up at this form I'm also going to share. I will not be present next week. I'm going on vacation, so you're going to get emails from me sooner than you normally do because I'm going to be unplugged. We will have club elections, so next meeting we'll have a little different agenda. So just a note there for our Toastmaster that we might not need to partner with Erica and Jennifer to make sure the agenda times make sense for the club elections. But if anyone has questions about roles or anything, I'm going to stick around too today, and you guys can always email us and ask. All right.
Hey,
Go
Lori,
ahead.
I
Yep.
just noticed I've been elected as vote counter. I'm actually on vacation next meeting as well, so I might not be able to make that.
Okay, we can find a replacement. Thank you for letting me know. And just a shout out to anybody. If you are going to be on vacation for any upcoming meetings or you can't make it, feel free to let us know, because the easiest way to avoid it is just not assign you a role. So we have a lot of new members, and that's just a good thing to know. It's also in the sign up form. So that's all I got, Erica. I'll turn it back over to you.
And I'm going to turn it over to Amy to wrap us up for today.
Thanks, Erica, and thanks everyone for a great meeting. It was really fun to hear everyone's stories and hear about their proudest moments, and it was just a really great meeting. So I will go ahead and stop the recording now, and we will be adjourned.